Oh no, nothing like that, Colonello-senpai. Skull hurried to disabuse them of that notion, limbs frantic and flailing all over the place. They're just so sad I'll be leaving them. I can't stand those sad faces, you know. Colonello's fingers tightened around the pistol grip. I will shoot you, Cora. Naruto could even hear his teeth grinding, but Guy was an asshole, so. He nodded at Skull, humoring the little guy and enacting his original plan before Colonello blew a fuse. Well, in that case, you might want to go save them. Skull blinked. Save them from what? His eyes almost popped out of his head at the sight of his brat's beautiful seaside annihilation. What the hell are those freaking kids? Fuck no. Colonello's deadpan didn't convince Skull. Oh ye of little faith. But they look like kids, flame-active kids. Are they like us or something? Naruto grinned. Nah, my kids are just awesome like that. Your kids, unable to take his eyes off of the kitty carnage, the biker baby spluttered, on the verge of hysteria. Aren't you a little young to be a father of? His voice rose shrilly. 6, no, not really. Naruto's grin became wicked as he shrugged. What can I say? Ladies love me. It's my animal magnetism, you know. The killer babies stared at him amid the deafening clangor of battle and what the fuck speechlessness. Then, Colonello declared with the strained visage of someone who had reached his quota of bullshit. As their father, and who couldn't believe he was actually saying this, you're paying for the damages. Hey now, I wasn't the one who invaded the island. His pointed stare spoke volumes of who was. We will pay for everything, I swear we will. Just please make them stop. Skull wailed, pulling at his hair. Little Guy was so distressed that Naruto felt a twinge of guilt, but before he could do something stupid like take pity on him and offer to cover for his brat's rampage, Skull shoved his head inside his helmet and jumped into the fray, crying out, Salvador Nu, don't go into the light. Yeah, there was no saving that guy. What did I miss? Kurama yawned, lazily flicking his tails. Nothing, just kids being kids. Chapter 12 Chapter text Naruto had been pranked. After convincing the parents to sign up their kids for summer camp, forgery, puppy dog eyes, and just a touch indigo fire chakra might or might have not been involved depending on each case, they had arrived in early mid-June. On a sunny Sunday morning, and promptly been picked up by Gamma at the airport. 1 week, 3 days, 9 hours, 40 minutes, 12 seconds, and counting later, he was still searching for a place that made a good bowl of ramen. Italy was not, as he had been led to believe by that asshole Gamma, this world's counterpart of the land of noodles, not even close. Oh sure, they had more pasta dishes than he could eat in one sitting, but ramen, these people didn't know a damn thing about ramen. Low blow, Gamma, so not cool, man. Nobody messed with his ramen. There were pranks, and then there was common human decency. Some things were sacred. And so it came to pass that Gamma was assigned temporary captaincy of Team A. Never let it be said, Naruto didn't know exactly how to give someone their dues. The brats were learning tons. Gamma was touring the 9 circles of hell. Arya was amused. Naruto was in quest for the treasure of Italian ramen. Giglio Nero was shaking like a leaf and scared stiff in equal measure. All was right with the world. Then Kyoko got kidnapped. I'm sorry, what? Wanna run all that by me again, Kyo-chan. Staring at the phone screen as if it would suddenly gain artificial intelligence and tell him this was all a terrible joke or a technical malfunction. Naruto counted to 3 in his mind. The mobile phone remained lifeless, but Arya raised an inquisitive brow over her coffee cup. Naruto made a noise of vague assent, then placed it on the table and put the call on speakerphone. If she wanted to enter the kingdom of welcome lunacy and goodbye sanity, it was her prerogative. We were doing a reconnaissance on the northern territories, specifically Lombardy, when we detected signs of suspicious behavior. A middle-aged man was scouting children between the ages of 6 and 12 for unknown reasons. Yosai suggested we investigate and volunteered to be the bait due to her innocuous appearance, which translated into cause she's a sweet muffin and everybody wants a piece of her, but Kyoya would rather hug Fawn than come out and say it. Brat was cute like that, even if half of Namamori vehemently disagreed, as did their hospital bills, but Naruto had irrefutable proof. The nin animal obsession spoke for itself. Case in point, he had barely succeeded in placating the little brats after the mafia land sightings, by introducing the idea of Anbu animal masks and code names. In the end, they had chosen to go for a yakai theme instead, which had resulted in the birth of Tenko Naruto. Tengu Kyoya Yosai Kyoko, Inugami Teikshi, Suzaku Hana, Reiju Tetsuya, and Sarugami Ryohei. The kids were pleased as punch, the nin animal fiasco once more diverted, and Naruto blessedly off the hook. Except the next killer baby to show up with a nin animal was dead meat. May all the gods have mercy on their soul, because Naruto sure as hell wouldn't. Inugami and I followed the target after the bait was taken, and are currently situated outside the secret base he entered with the captured children. End of report. Gotta hand it to the brat. Only Kyoya could make screw-ups of this magnitude sound like professional bullshit. Yamato Teicho's reports had been eerily similar, down to the lack of intonation and headache-inducing factor mixed in with the rest of the crazy. Only thing missing was the flashlight and ghost eyes visual effects. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard you say. Naruto closed his eyes, rubbing his lids, while Arya, the easily amused trader, giggle-snorted into her coffee cup. Just out of curiosity, where was Gamma during all that? No, scratch that. Where is he now? He's supposed to be your team leader for this mission. Gamma Teicho proposed we take surveillance shifts and had the night shift as he deemed the day shift more low risk. He is currently recuperating at the Giglio Nero Famigla's safe house. Course, he did. The pads of his fingers dug into the thin skin of his lids as Arya gave in to laughter, bent in half and clutching at her stomach. All right, Kaio, a puppy growl. And yeah, that right, there was more proof Namamori didn't know jack shit. His brat was fucking adorable. I'm sorry, Tengu. Send me the coordinates of your location, and do not move from there until I arrive, or unless Yosai sends out a distress signal. If she does, you have permission to go forth and fuck shit up, K. Affirmative, Tenko. Kyoya's manic please make my day motherfuckers grin was audible on the other end of the line. Blithely, Naruto hung up and turned to Arya, who was washing down laughter with a big gulp of coffee. Your subordinate's leadership ability sucks balls. You better pray it doesn't transfer to the bedroom, Arya choked. Naruto stood in the middle of the ruins that used to be the Estranio Famiglia's research laboratories. Around him, human bodies were strewn on every surface, broken and slashed and burned to near death. Beside him, Gamma was silent and fidgeting with the knot of his tie, knuckles white and clenched tight, anger warring with disgust across his face. Behind him, Tima was huddled around 3 blood-splattered children in hospital robes. Providing first aid and assurances of freedom Kyoya and safety Teikshi, and emotional support Kyoko. So let me get this straight. His voice was a low, smooth bass, carrying the kind of calm that implied he had gone past rage and straight to coldly calculating murder. A bunch of mad scientists created some iffy possession bullet, and the Mafia decided that shit ain't right and they should be wiped out. But you're totally okay with them, experimenting on a bunch of little kids. Cause, correct me if I'm wrong here, this Mengel shitfist has been going on for years, and nobody gave a single fuck. Gamma pressed his lips together because what could he say to that? Naruto dared him to try and justify it. Still, shaken and ashen-faced, he tried. Fuck, this is insane. They hid well, bullshit. My kids uncovered this whole mess in one fucking day. Your kids are not normal human children. Naruto heard that line from Gamma's mouth at least twice a day, but unlike every other time. It was colored with relief and maybe a little satisfaction, as if he was genuinely glad they weren't. Frowning, he sighed, deciding to lay the blame where it should fall in the first place. Isn't there, I dunno, some kind of Mafia police force to ensure this sorta thing doesn't happen? The blood drained from Gamma's face, leaving behind wan skin and stark bones and utter, helpless dread. The man had learned to read him well by now. Naruto was so calling the Mafia cops on these pathetic third-rate copies of Orochimaru. Yes, actually, but I wouldn't call the Vindus without. Great. How do we call? Naruto never got to finish, because the Mafia police showed up Uchiha style. Like there was black fire and space-time ninjutsu, and people coming back from the dead and the gloom of hatred in the atmosphere. It couldn't get any more Uchiha than that. Kurama itched to burn them out of existence on principle, and right now, Naruto was inclined to let him. Bad timing on their part. Never mind, that's them, yeah. Taking Gamma's mute shock as confirmation, Naruto examined the three bandaged Uchiha wannabes. Kinda feel like Edo Tensei, don't they? Close but not quite, Kurama spat, a black rumble of disdain and malevolence, and whoa, the fuzzball's chakra hadn't been that restless in ages. Edo Tensei are emotionless puppets, but these they are filled with hatred, nothing but petty human hatred. They feel like something trapped between life and death. Their chakra is twisted, and it's not even theirs. Someone's been feeding them that twisted chakra to keep them in that state, twisted. Naruto made a go-on motion, partly because he was intrigued by this chakra anomaly, partly to keep the fox talking and not eradicating. It worked too. Kurama sat back on his haunches, resuming listen as I explained the obvious to your tiny human brain lecture mode, instead of kill it with fire chakra mode. You know how all living beings have fire chakra in this world? Yeah, even if they never tap into it, they still have it. Well, this fire chakra feels like what dead beings would have if, they kept on living. And hating, can't forget the all-consuming hating part. Just like that thrice-cursed Madara, and there went the fox's zen. So they're stubborn bastards who refused to die and ended up like this, and the one who's been feeding them this black fire chakra was probably the one who started it all. They're also out for blood. Whose is the question? Kurama was too deep in his Daiuchiha spawn blood rage to be of further assistance, so Naruto let him vent in peace. He had some venting of his own to do, and would you look at that, the targets were even considered enough to line up for the ass-kicking he was about to dole out. Oi shitty police dudes, stillness, and the temperature dropping, the humans shivering, the undead staring into the inferno and Naruto staring into the abyss. What the fuck is wrong with your response time? You just appear out of the blue like the fucking Bujamin when someone breathes your name. But you can't spare a goddamn minute to save a bunch of little kids from being experimented to hell and back. Silence, then tall, dark, and creepy droned out. The Vindus uphold the laws of the mafia world. It is not your place to dispense justice. Cease your accusations lest you wish to be detained. Really, that was their damn issue here. They didn't come to fix their mess but to arrest. Naruto lost it. Kurama perked up. Gamma removed the kids from within the line of fire and what was about to become ground zero. Fuck your laws and shitty sense of justice. Innocent kids have been suffering for years and you've done fuck all about it. Explain that to me. No explanation came forth, but an ominous rattle of chains, black fire chakra re-emerging, space-time distorting fuck it. Go wild, Kurama. With pleasure, all hell broke loose. Killing intent suffused the air, massive and heavy and inhuman, red fire chakra pulsing hotly. A thrilled refrain of half-dead things should know their place and taste the fear. Tiny living corpses, feel it in your souls and burn buin. Inwardly, Naruto's sweat dropped, a good portion of his wrath melting into embers. Cabin fever, that must be it. Maybe he should let the furball out more with adult supervision. On an uninhabited island, far away from civilization, nobody would miss a little island in the middle of nowhere, right? Outwardly, he flashed jagged teeth at the zombie police, in a mockery of a grin, in a way that screamed they were going to be that island if they didn't shut their trap and listen. Got any more complaints? No. Great, so here's what will happen. You'll arrest those fucking scumbags and throw them into the deepest, darkest cell you've got, never to see the light of day again. I wouldn't be averse to some police brutality while you're at it either. You'll apologize to these poor kids and promise to show up the moment they call your name for help in the future. You'll give my kids a fucking medal for sorting out your mess and won't even dream about arresting them. He surveyed their still-as-death forms, slowly, one by one, blood in his eyes and violence in his grin and promise in his voice. If you do all that, then we won't have a problem, Capus. Instead of responding, either in the positive or negative, it didn't matter to Naruto. Though Kurama was clamoring for the latter, their spokesperson opted for the third option and called for reinforcements, aka the chief of Mafia Police. It was a killer baby, too, a zombified one, because why the hell not? They seemed to be everywhere Naruto went, and damn, did he burn with the cold fires of hatred. On the plus side, there were no nin animals in sight, so yay for small mercies. This killer baby might unlive to see another day if he played his cards right. Baby Chief opened with, "What seems to be the issue, Jaeger?" which led to 5 minutes of hushed conversation among the cloaked figures of unlife and justice. Aha. So that was the name of tall, dark, and creepy. Good to know in case this turned ugly, for the gravestone and all. And finished with, the Estranio Famiglia is hereby found guilty of illegal human experimentation and sentenced to permanent incarceration in Vendicare. Chains coiled around the prisoners' bodies, binding and dragging them through the portal. While the zombie baby was still speaking, and wow, these guys didn't waste time with superficial trivialities like, say, a court trial. An event that would have generated an untold amount of fucking paperwork. Maybe they weren't irredeemable bastards after all. Naruto could grow to like them in time. The Vindis offer their sincere apologies to the survivors for failing to enforce the law in a timely manner. The company of the living dead inclined their heads at the two faraway children in perfect sync. Then Baby Chief pinned Naruto with an inscrutable stare. Like the bandages were in the way, also the hate-limited range of emotions and monotone, so Naruto had no idea what sort of stunt the zombie baby was going to pull. "You Vengola Sky Child, what is your name?" "Oh, shit." Baby Chief was old enough to remember Ieyasu. Yeah, had to be just his luck. Awesome, not. Resigned, Naruto prepared for the eventuality of Vengola becoming involved, and gods above Imitsu. Kurama whispered insidious suggestions of immolation, including his useless father to the pyre because he was benevolent like that, not helping Kurama, but thanks, you rock. "Sawada Tsuneyoshi," he grudgingly said, blocking out the fox's fantasies. "Your famiglia is absolved of any crimes against the Estranio Famiglia. Any future infractions will be dealt with according to the law. Do we have an agreement, Sawada Tsuneyoshi?" That was pure awesome right there. Baby Chief rocked too. "We sure do," Naruto all but beamed at the zombified killer baby. "And you are." It might have been his dramatic 180 turn, or the fact he was still emitting low-level killing intent. Or that his grin was full of fangs, and his eyes a fox-slit crimson, but Baby Chief had the most human reaction Naruto would probably ever get from him. He slanted his head to the side, measuring him up and down with a regal sort of feline curiosity, then said, tone dead but accent thickening, "Bermuda von Weckenstein." Naruto nodded and went all in. "You wouldn't happen to know anything about the asshole who made that shiny trinket around your neck, now would you?" Baby Chief's silence in conjunction with the abrupt loathing spike was answer enough. Asshole who fucked them over found. Well, that was one revenge trip he wouldn't mind taking, so feel free to stop by for a visit when you've got time to kill. We'll have tea and cookies and everything. Another cat-like slanting of his head, then, perhaps, and they were gone. Not 2 minutes later, the little brats raced over to him, a shell-shocked Gamma trailing behind, and of course. Kyoko was the first to open her mouth, smiling like she cared nothing for his epic showdown with the zombie mafia police. She had never doubted he would win, none of his brats did. The sensei worship was strong in these ones. "This is Mukuro-kun, and Ken-kun, and Chikusa-kun, and we are coming with you." Mukuro-kun was the one who attached that grand declaration to Kyoko's introductory sentence. Mukuro-kun who should be traumatized, but instead was smiling like Christmas had come early, and Santa had gifted him with explosive tags. Because he was such a good boy, a paragon of virtue, the very picture of innocence, truly, and yeah. Naruto had only 2 things to say to that, the more important: "You're gonna be a little shit if I say no, yeah." And the less pertinent, "You do know we're mafia, right?" Mukuro-kun's smile became more innocent. "You don't act like the mafia, I know, and you are interesting," Naruto snorted. "Fair enough, all right then, time to move out, brats." And so saying, they departed from the ruins of the Estranio Famiglia. Gamma still shell-shocked and trailing behind, repeating over and over, he picked a fight with the Vindis and won. He would recover soon, probably. Chapter 13, chapter text. Naruto had a pretty damn strong feeling someone up there was screwing with him just for shits and giggles. It had started with the reincarnation bullshit, and it kept getting stronger as the years passed by. Was this going to be a regular thing now? Ducklings crawling out of the woodwork and imprinting on him at first sight, because if it was, the government owed him some family benefits, damn it. Starting with free psychiatric care, and an exemption from laws regarding underage drinking and controlled substances. Team C for circus was something straight out of fantasy books. If Stephen King and Roald Dahl got together and had a brain baby, it would be this team. Like there were illusion horror shows and beast taming acts and senbon throwing games and creepy murder laughter everywhere. Which would have been fine on its own. All his brats were bloodthirsty little monsters. It was good PTSD therapy, and this team needed it yesterday, but Kyoko loved it. She loved it so much that she spent hours debating indigo fire chakra mindfuckery with Mukuro. And that was the crux of the problem because Kyoya hadn't taken that well, at all. Naruto wasn't sure if this was the beginning of the most epic rivalry ever, or a fucked up love triangle, or what. In comparison to that lovely disaster, Ken's competitions with Ryohei over who was the manliest of them all was nothing. Even if it did cause more flashbacks than Naruto was comfortable with, and a food shortage. Chikyusa, he had decided after having to restock the fridge for the nth time, was his favorite. Such a quiet boy, well-mannered, with proper hygiene habits. So what if it rains senbon when Kyusa-chan gets emotional? Gamma, learn how to fucking dodge, man. What next? Gonna blame the kid for having nightmares. Between the integration of Team C into the ranks of Chibai Shinobi, Gamma's slow mental recovery, Aria's quick cover-up of the Estranio Vindis screw-up, and his ongoing ramen odyssey, Naruto had little time to spare for supervising missions. An oversight on his part, true, but Gamma had gone through his baptism of fire. How hard could it be to keep an eye on the brats? 2 weeks later, the answer stormed Giglio Nero's mansion, harder than steel and twice as sharp. Trouble came from where he had neglected to be vigilant. Out of all his problem kids, he hadn't expected Takeishi would be the one to catch Vongola's attention with his newborn stalkerish fanboy ways. Brats snooping around Varia territory. Have you lost your fucking mind? I almost eviscerated that little shit. Levi tried to fry the girl. Now the idiot's in a fucking coma and Mammon's been bitching about the medical cost for 3 fucking hours. Naruto was tempted to make a snarky retort about how this guy had been bitching for half an hour already. At ear-bleeding decibels, too, but the entertainment value outweighed the temporary hearing loss. Because Gamma was the victim of the vocal torture. Complete with violent sword stabbing and copious amounts of blue fire chakra to keep him immobile, and he deserved every second of it. If he hadn't slept on the job again, there wouldn't be a psychotic swordsman tearing into him, loudly and viciously. Or a tiara brat twirling knives with dexterity and progressively disturbing laughter in Giglio Nero's entrance hall. Still, it was becoming repetitive. Also, Gamma was in danger of passing out from blood loss. But that was a minor concern, so Naruto took over by nudging the source of the man's suffering. And what do you have to say about all that, Takeshan? Never taking his eyes off of Sword Psycho for a millisecond, smile bright and warm as the Mediterranean sun, Takeishi let out a cheerful laugh. I had fun. Now that penetrated Sword Psycho's rage more quickly than Iaijutsu. He swung around to face Takeishi, pivoting on his heel, sword arm rising in one fluid motion. And wow, this guy danced like Kiri's fancy swordmasters, all lithe grace and hair flipping and shit. Naruto could now see why his brat had fixated on him. Voy, the fuck was that, you little shit, wanna say it again. Smile brighter, warmer, Takeishi gamely ignored the gleaming instrument of death that almost kissed the tip of his nose. I just wanted to spar with you. Sword Psycho's mouth froze mid-sentence, as if there was a delay in processing Takeishi's words because it was the last thing he expected to hear. All was quiet for a moment. Even the tiara brat had ceased being disturbing as fuck in his isolated corner. I watched you train in that field for 2 hours, the boy began, a little timid, then growing more animated. Until he was grinning and bouncing on the balls of his feet, happier than a hamster on a running wheel. Your form is perfect, and your footwork's really great, the flow's sorta beautiful, you know. And your style blends moves in a way I haven't seen before, and your seam's on Oyeji's level. Only Oyeji can push me, and he's given up the sword, so we don't spar often. Plus, we use the same style, so it gets kinda boring after a while even if I can never beat him. At this point, Takeishi stopped to breathe. Sword Psycho had been rendered speechless, his posture telegraphing how caught off guard he was and how conflicted about the correct response. Like, should he start yelling and slice the brat in half, or shut up and take the damn compliment? And boy, was he awkward when flattered. Naruto found it hilarious. Now this was prime entertainment, even better than Gamma's impromptu tea and eye session. So I followed you home, and my team followed me, and in that lightning guy went for Kyoko-chan, you know. If I hadn't taken him down fast, Kyoya and Kyoko-chan would have done something worse, trust me. After placing the blame on this lightning guy, Takeshi shrugged his shoulders, nonchalant and showing no signs of remorse, just like Naruto had taught him. A taboi. Sword Psycho must have determined there was at least a smidgen of truth buried in all that, somewhere between sweet-talking the fuck out of him and typical Kyo duo bullshit. His posture loosened, sword arm lowering at long last, still ingesting the flattery part though. TCH, you've got good eyes, puppy. Your baby team's not half bad either. Levy's an idiot, but as much as it pains me to admit it, that trash is quality. If he was going for suave and cool, it failed miserably. The pet name was the first clue, Takeshi's A-million sons smile the second, and the variety of laughter coming from the peanut gallery the last. Probably why he returned to what felt natural in the next second, but that's not the fucking problem here. You don't break into someone's turf just cause you want to spar. Fuck, did nobody ever tell you not to follow strangers around? What if I was some sick pedophile? What then, puppy? Heh. The pet name stayed, and so would Takeshi. Give his brats an inch and they'd take a mile. Naruto knew it all too well, but doubted this guy was aware of what was in his future. Better to ease him into it, though. Clearing his throat, he inserted himself into the conversation, signing for Takeshi to let him handle matters from now on. Are you? Fuck no. Offended, punctuated by sword swinging, and way too loud. I don't see the problem then, was all Naruto said, because he had told his brats how to deal with sexual predators. In graphic detail, and following them around was on top of the list. Sword Psycho apparently didn't agree with his policy. You don't, what the fuck is wrong with your brats, Gamma, seeking validation from the only other adult in the room, huh? Poor choice, Sword Psycho. Gamma, who was in the middle of patching himself up, groaned and muttered, half in pain, half in despair, I don't even know where to start. Before he could regale Sword Psycho with his tale of woe and hardship at the hands of little kids, Naruto chose to end this whole shebang with the tried and true Namamori method. How about we take care of the medical expenses and call this incident a misunderstanding? And oh, it was a meeting of the minds, because Sword Psycho's expression spoke of someone well-versed in this method as he said, victorious and bold as you fucking please, that'll get Mammon off my back, but there's still the issue of who's gonna take over that idiot's paperwork now. Lusheria has him on bed rest for at least a week. Ouch, that hurt like a bitch. Using the P word, Naruto's wrist ached just thinking about it. Damn, must be psychosomatic. Talk about fighting dirty, Sword Psycho. Good for him, he'd need it in his puppy future since that shit was for life. Takeshi was going to own this poor bastard. Once that brat decided Sword Psycho was it, then he was it. Hell, Naruto was experiencing it multiplied by 9. So he wasn't kidding when he winced, flexing his right wrist, and in all seriousness asked, I feel you, man, I really do, but what do you want us to do about it? This question appeared to be what Sword Psycho was waiting for all along. Extending his sword arm, he pointed over to the once again snickering, knife-juggling Tiara brat. You can take Bell off my hands for the week. You're all fucking insane flame-active brats, you should get along fine. Have a fucking play date or something. As the situation devolved into a hot-tempered argument, the prince did not agree to mingle with peasants, exacerbated by sparks of fire chakra. Fuck if I care. You'll do it and you'll like it, and shiny, pointy objects galore. Naruto bemoaned his future being multiplied by 10. All right, you've got yourself a deal. Sighing a you win this round asshole sigh. He scrubbed a hand down his face, while grumbling over the unfairness of the world and Sword Psycho's endgame, and why the hell was that bastard so damn thespian. But if you just wanted to arrange a week-long play date, couldn't you have skipped the drama and done that from the start? That was an hour of my life I'll never get back. I could have been in Florence, checking out that Asian restaurant Tazaru suggested. It's been 5 goddamn weeks of instant ramen. For fuck's sake, I'm starting to get withdrawal symptoms. Taken aback, Sword Psycho took an infinitesimal pause. Big mistake. A knife almost nicked his femoral artery. Damn, kid was smart and relentless and knew to go in for the kill. And yeah, the Tiara brat would be right at home with his brats. Cursing under his breath, Sword Psycho shot a withering glare at Gamma, although why he kept expecting help from that front was a mystery. Voy. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with your brats, Gamma? Eyes moving from the Tiara brat's maniacal grin to Sword Psycho's torn pants to his own bandaged thigh, Gamma threw it back with interest. You have no room to talk. Which summed it up nicely, tied up in a neat little bow, and hey, Gamma could be useful, color him impressed. Must be the blood loss, some people just performed better under pressure. Sword Psycho scoffed, then turned to leave, but not before mussing up the Tiara brat's hair and tossing a piece of paper at Takeshii. Voy puppy. Next time you want to spar, give me a fucking call first, got it. Takeshi's smile went supernova. One last knife flew right on target, only to embed itself on the wall beside the Tiara brat's left ear as if it made a U-turn. Yeah, there would be phone calls before the week ended. Once the brats were out of the room, Naruto sighed, rubbing his temples. That was the current Varia commander, yeah. Superbai Squalo, the second Sword Emperor. He was Zanx's second in command before the guy fell off the face of the earth. Gamma deigned to inform him, copying his head massage. You can't miss him at parties. I've tried and failed more times than I can count. Naruto chuckled. He could totally see that, yeah. Well, Take-shan likes him. Guess we'll be seeing him often. There were no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only question was, won't it cause problems for you? Maybe. Or he would have said that if not for, nah, does this face scream Imitsu to you? A thin brow arched dryly. Gamma conceded his point with an equally dry snort. Sides you never denied were Giglio Nero. I'll just tell the kids to pretend we are if it comes up. Naruto was beginning to lose faith in humanity. Why was this world filled with assholes? And why did the world keep hurling them at his feet? Couldn't a guy eat in peace, damn it? All he wanted was a fucking bowl of ramen. Was that too much to ask for? Like fuck, give him a break here and don't chase kids around yelling about bastards and half-breeds and whore mothers and nasty shit like that. In broad daylight in the middle of the street where decent people were, fucking, eating. Oi kid, you can come out now, he called out, scowling down at the 7 bodies lying bruised and bloody at his feet, grown-ass men picking on little kids. Didn't their mothers teach them better? What was the world coming to? A small head of silverish white hair peeked from behind the dumpster. The kid had hidden himself when Naruto's fist met asshole number 1's face. Hinging into his 16-year-old past self came in handy. Waitresses didn't ask where his parents were, and assholes went down with one straight punch. 2 minutes passed before the kid deemed it safe to come out, stomping all over the assholes no less. Nice touch, kid. Green eyes stared up at him, narrow with distrust and sullenly appreciative by turns. Then he stated, in his infinite wisdom, I didn't need help. Naruto fought hard not to laugh, because was this runt cute or what, trying to be all adult and self-dependent when he was like, a decade old and 70 pounds soaking wet. Yeah, sure, whatever you say, and I wasn't hiding, he insisted, still firmly in I am my own man land, changing to a lecturing tone even. I could take them if I wanted, but that would cause a damn scene, and haven't you heard the news? You know about the Vindus, and how they've been real active lately. Last time a stupid drunk fight broke out, they arrested everyone without even asking what happened. I hear those guys are still serving time in Vendicare on charges for public intoxication and indirect violation of the secrecy law. Brat sounded confused and hella dubious about the legitimacy of said charges. As if it was an elaborate prank the Vindus were playing on the mafia, but it couldn't be because those guys didn't do jokes, ever. Naruto would be too in his place. Hell, he dearly wished he could be. Alas, he knew better, really, baby chief, taking it out on small-time crooks now. What happened to we are the vessels of hatred, we know no other emotion, you developing feelings, cause that's nice and all, but did you have to start with frustration? Kurama needed to wake up from his I fucked with the dead now amate canap siesta soon. It just wasn't the same with no sarcastic comeback. He needed his partner, damn it. Dunno who lit a fire under their ass, but they've been cracking down on minor misdemeanor crap like that harder than the civilian police, the kid finished. Eyes wary and stealing furtive glances at the shadows in the alley, as if the Vindus would show up and arrest him for slander or something. Yeah, no, Naruto wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. The mafia world could fend for itself against the dark forces of oppression and zombieism. Not his problem, nah. He nodded at the kid, feigning surprise and "I'm so grateful you told me this" vibes. Really? Huh, thanks for the heads up. Red color smeared along the angles of his cheekbones and down the line of his collarbone. Brat ducked his head, as if the tips of his ears didn't betray the furious flush, words spilling rash and breathless from his mouth. "Sna problems, you did kinda help me out and all, not that I needed it or anything. Oh man, getting cuter there." So it must have been the cute factor, also the assholes, can't forget them. Kid was a trouble magnet with that face, and because he would regret it if he didn't ask, "You got a place to stay, brat?" And the distrust was back in full force, though diluted with enough gratitude that he saved him, or that he even cared, damn kid, to warrant an answer. "I'm staying with a family friend. What's it to you? I'll walk you home," Naruto said simply, and it was non-negotiable. When the kid made to protest, Naruto smiled at him, his Kyoya smile, the one he flashed at Hellspawn when words failed to convey the message of "you'll do as I say, brat." Humor me, it worked on this kid too, because all he could mutter was a subdued, "Fine." 8 blocks away, inside his proud bachelor pad, Trident Shamel was enjoying an afternoon cup of coffee as he paid homage to the latest Playboy issue. Until he cracked open his daily fortune cookie, that was. "May you live in interesting times" was written in fire-red ink. He still never saw it coming. Chapter 14, chapter text. Naruto had learned quite a bit about Gokudera Hayato as the boy led him to the flat he shared with his guardian, mostly from what the kid didn't say. There was no mention of his birth family, or his guardian's affiliation, or anything related to a specific famiglia. All of it painted a not-so-nice picture. Little Hayato was a bastard child, discarded by his famiglia, somehow ending up in the care of a professional hitman, probably an independent one. It was nothing he hadn't seen before. Sad, yeah, but all too common. The world just was. Nothing fair or unfair about it, but it presented an opportunity. Hayato needed purpose and bonds, and somewhere to belong. Naruto needed an experienced Jonin. Because 10 brats were a bit too much even for him, and while Gamma provided summer relief, that poor bastard was Area's man through and through. Come September, they'd be back in Namamori, and Naruto refused to leave before snagging another temp Teicho for Teams A and B. Chances were those brats would pass their first Chunin exams with flying colors. So all they needed now was a captain, while Naruto focused on whipping Team C into shape and finding some teammates for Hayato. Win-win, right? There was a jingling of keys. Naruto looked down to see Hayato fiddling with the keychain. Having stopped in front of an apartment building, indecisive and pink-cheeked and shifting from one foot to the other. "Adorable little brat, hey, no need to get nervous. I just want to talk to your guardian, K. That's all, I promise." Slowly, he lifted his hand to stroke the kid's hair, giving him ample time to avoid it. Wide-eyed, Hayato stayed put, sucked in a breath, then at the last second ducked under his hand to unlock the door. Naruto's mouth quirked wryly. Maybe he should have started with Sasuke's forehead flick of familial affection for the emotionally stunted. In silence, the boy made a beeline for the staircase, not stopping until they were inside his flat. "M'back Shamel," he mumbled, shuffling to the kitchen where a dark-haired man with some stubble around his chin was holding a magazine of questionable content. At an odd angle, eyes glazed over and giggling like Iro-senin outside the hot springs. Or Kakashi-sensei in an Ika reading coma. Yeah, definitely the right man for the job. The majority of Naruto's mentors had been notorious perverts, skilled as hell, but shamelessly open about their hobbies. "You're back earlier then," Shamel almost fell off his chair, the magazine disappearing in the blink of an eye. Then went rigid, stupid grin still plastered on his face, but more fake than the pair of breasts he'd been previously ogling. "Who's your friend Hayato? This is Naruto." A blistering, mortified glare, all but screaming, "Why must you be such a pervert? And don't you dare embarrass me, and why did I ever think you were cool?" As if remembering the chain of events that caused their meeting, Hayato became more flustered. We, ran into each other by accident. Right, total accident. Like how Naruto's fist accidentally broke 7 assholes' faces, and he wanted to make sure I got home safe, I guess. Kid was as bad at lying as he was at accepting affection, and damn, if that wasn't just sad. Judging by the pervert's pinched features, it wasn't something out of the ordinary either. Ah, I see. Well, why don't you go wash up while I get to know your new friend, H-Shem? Hayato scowled, and that niggling at the back of his mind finally clicked into place. Naruto found himself staring at a green-eyed Mininidium and wondering why it took him so long to make the connection. Kid was a damn genius, certainly smart enough to read the atmosphere and not like what it spelled out, but Shamel's tone left no room for disobedience. Growling, he stormed out of the kitchen, with that Tobirama-worthy scowl and genius intellect promising there would be hell to pay when he came back. Pity his chakra sensing wasn't up to par. The Nidaime would have crushed the insect that latched on to the boy's nape before it could even flap its wings to take flight. Once the brat was out of hearing range, Shamel studied him closely, rubbing his chin, eyes half-lidded, guarded, intrigued. That's a clever disguise mixing mist, lightning, and a core of sky flames, huh? Very impressive, could fool almost anyone, an Aburaim sensor, huh? To detect the usage of fire chakra was one thing, difficult yet doable for most Chunin, but to be able to discern all that in mere seconds, his henge was flawless. Even if he had to reinforce and stabilize it with a green and orange fire chakra combo, because he sucked at indigo. Naruto leaned against the back of his chair and smirked. Not bad, Asen. Shamel's jaw fell open. Oh, Asen. He slammed his palm against the kitchen table, knocking over his coffee cup and paying no mind to his soaked sleeve. I'm 31, brat, 31. Why, I'm in the prime of my life. Ask any lady out there and they'll tell you, Iroasen. Oh, you little, Heichan just fell asleep. His smirk made his words lighter than they should be, all the heavier in their implications. That's a fast-acting sedative, administered by a mosquito, huh? Very impressive, could fool almost anyone. Shamel's face closed off, all traces of comic outrage vanishing in an instant. Not bad, Vulp. Rolling up his wet sleeve, he mirrored Naruto, his smirk, the casual way he spoke, how he lounged on his chair. Now mind telling me why someone of your caliber would take an interest in my little runaway. Far as I know, foxes are solitary creatures, not pack animals. Oh. Must be the henge. Naruto's expression softened, both at the nostalgic reminder and the confirmation of Hayato's circumstances. So he did run away from home. A flicker of pain gone too quickly, Shamel sighed. That is a long, sad story I really don't care to repeat. Not my kind of love story, you know. I'm all for happy endings. Naruto's head tilted towards the badly hidden porn magazine, a deliberate, exaggerated glance, which Shamel pretended to miss while dabbing his coffee-stained sleeve with a napkin. Yeah, you're a regular hero, Iroasen. He rolled his eyes, getting back on topic, because he knew from experience that no manner of violence could beat the pervert out of him. If this guy was anything like Irosenin, then sadomasochism was an ingrained character trait by now. Tell me, how often does Heichan get in trouble with disrespectful assholes talking shit about his dead mother? Shamel crumpled up the napkin and threw it into the bin. When he met Naruto's stare, there was a smile in his eyes, an amused gleam, an epiphany. One of those rare foxes are you, picking up kits right and left. How many have you gotten so far? Finally cottoned on, Iroasen. Now, how to make his recruitment pitch. Many scenarios raced through his mind, but who was he kidding? Naruto only ever had one way, go big or go home. And, for the record, he was not going home without snatching up a temptatio. The corners of his mouth peeled back, parted for a flash of 2 sharp teeth. I have more kits than tails these days. Fire chakra pulsed hot and heavy, twisting and contorting, reshaping itself into something tangible. Shamel stared with eyes wide and lips shut as it took form, split into identical parts. Wild energy made will and fire. 9 tails snaked around his hips, burning brightly, imitating the blood orange of Kurama's fur. Shamel reached for the closest one, dragged the pads of his fingers along its flaring line, down to its white-hot tip. As if in a daze or drunk on fire, he murmured, "Thinking of adding to your skulk?" Naruto grinned, a sly curling of lips in mischief. Interested, it was rhetorical. Shamel's chakra told him all he needed to know. Indigo wisps clinging even as he drew his fingers back and away, grabbed the pack of his cigarettes and lit one up. Naruto used the small pause as the man reoriented himself to extinguish the chakra tails now that his offer had been made and received. Depends. Shamel exhaled a ring of smoke, brown eyes glinting with amusement again, but there was a subtle shift to his scrutiny, something personal, an assessment. "I like to fly solo, you know, but Hayato happens to be my responsibility these days. So why don't we start by you telling me where your den is?" Tricky question, but honesty was the best policy here, so he scratched his cheek and angled for a game of truth and omission. "Well, I've set up my own den on Giglio Nero's land." "You've left your birth den then?" "Nah, can't leave somewhere you've never been in the first place. Your sire is an idiot, right? Among other things, yeah." Naruto smirked as Shamel processed the information, plunging into the heart of the matter when the man finished his smoke. "Wanna give it a trial period, no strings attached." Shamel chuckled, shooting him a dirty look. "Bullshit, Hayato's never gonna leave if you take him in." Naruto's smirk broadened. "So? Nothing stopping you from leaving once you've seen Hayachan's in good hands." He shrugged his shoulders, cavalier to the point of insult, and Shamel laughed, tipping his head. "Touche Volp doesn't work that way though, and you damn well know it." A theatrical sigh whooshed out of his lungs. "Ah, why couldn't you have been a vixen?" Naruto flipped him off. "Keep on dreaming, Iroasen." Hayato adjusted to shinobi life with laughable ease, although that might have been because he met his fire chakra soulmates. The Red War lasted 3 days, 3 days during which Hana, Belphegor, and Hayato gave it their all to outsmart, incinerate, and kill each other, or go out in a blaze of glory. Hana won, but only because she had the advantage of knowing the 5 big no-nos of engagement, never stopped to monologue. Belphegor was too self-entitled not to give royal speeches. Never explain how your jutsu or strategy work. Hayato was too proud not to explain. Never allow yourself to be distracted from your opponent. Belphegor was too vainglorious not to lose his temper when his princely sensibilities were hurt. Never relax or cease attacking unless you've confirmed your target is incapacitated. Hayato was too misogynistic not to dismiss Hana as soon as she played possum. Never exhaust your chakra and betray your position with flashy finishers unless they're a surefire hit. Both Hayato and Belphegor were too in love with flashy moves not to throw them around like candy on Halloween. Shamel spent the whole time drunk, flirting with Arya, and willing himself to believe the Kitty War was an alcohol-induced hallucination. It was real. He was doomed and he knew it, but in the words of Oscar Wilde, "I could deny it if I liked. I could deny anything if I liked." The moment Gamma parked the car outside the Varia HQ, Belphegor sprinted out the door like he was being chased by the hounds of hell. Naruto and Gamma exchanged a glance full of mirth and wryness before they followed after him. Only for Naruto to stop and stand stock still once he caught sight of whom the Tiara brat had run to. His brain shut down, his body went on autopilot. Gamma wisely returned to the car and hit the lock button, Mammon. Squaw-senpai made the prince stay with peasants for a whole week. It was horrible and demeaning, and the prince did not play with children, and I will pay you triple the normal fee if you avenge me. Just as the person of interest was about to reply, Naruto initiated Operation Cursed Rainbow, Wrath of the Sensei, Phase 1. You, baby, with the nin frog. A veritable explosion of killing intent shook the castle down to its foundations, with the hooded killer baby in the epicenter. You are very lucky the kids didn't come along. Never ever show your animal partner to my brats. If you even think about it, his voice regressed to a low rasp, writhing with instinctual things. Fluctuations in chakra, violence thrumming in the silence, words layered with purpose and words unsaid. Death threats, killing urges. I will end you. Nothing moved. Nobody spoke. Then Squallow burst into the room, eyes searching around frantically, half bewildered, half hopeful. Voy, what the fuck was that? It felt like Xanxus Wrath on fucking steroids. Naruto leashed his chakra, smiling, his stare searing through the killer baby's hood. Nothing. Just making sure you're Arcabolino, and I have an understanding. The hood swayed back and forth, as if the tiny body underneath was in the throes of an epileptic seizure. I understand. Yeah, I bet you do. Awesome, see you next time. Naruto bent down and patted the ninfrog twice, then waved goodbye and turned to leave. Voy Mammon. What the hell are you, all right? Worse than bankruptcy. He walked out of the Varia HQ with a smile, the satisfaction of an averted crisis, and the conviction of having seen the last of the nin animals for the day. Leaving behind a half-bewildered, half-devastated sword psycho, a shaken killer baby, and a madly snickering tiara brat. It wasn't meant to be. Naruto sat on the ground, gazing skywards, his back against the car door, or, more precisely, the dented hunk of metal that used to be the driver's door before he had torn it off to escape the collision 15 minutes ago. Both man and door had dived off the mountain road, crashing into the narrow, winding lane below the one where Gamma was in the process of ripping the motorcycle moron a new one. At least Gamma had come out of it relatively unscathed, thanks to Naruto's swift rescue. It was debatable whether he would have survived the crash with mere scratches like him. Glimpses were all Naruto had caught before he went airborne: windswept blonde hair, stricken brown eyes, a killer baby, a yellow-striped fedora, a fucking ninkameleon. The fuck were they thinking when they gave you a driver's license? I'm so sorry, my leg just cramped all of a sudden. I really didn't mean, disgraceful pipsqueak Dino. A mafia boss doesn't squeal like a little girl. That was it, he was done. Naruto made a kamikaze clone, armed it with 24 grade 3 explosive tags, and tapped on his earpiece. Gamma, code Jonsu Jigoku, I'm outta here. Unlike the motorcycle moron, he even gave them fair warning. For Gamma's sake, he hadn't gone to all that trouble to save the man just to off him himself. Because if Gamma was blown to Kingdom Come, Naruto was ranked number 3 on Area's stud list, right below some poor, unaware bastard named Lancia. He had seen it. The last thing he heard before he slipped into the earth was Gamma's panicked, "Fire in the hole, take cover, Chapter 15, chapter text, people have started to take notice of you." Area's manner was quite blasé, 2 fingers tapping a lazy rhythm against the tabletop. As if she was talking about the recent heatwave, and not, oh, by the way, the mafia are gunning for you, no biggie. Breakfast as usual then. Ever since his spectacular stunt of blowing up 1/3 of the mountain road, a young Don in training. And his fedora baby mafia tutor, but fuck them, they had it coming. Everyone and their grandma had been asking questions. It was Gamma's fault if he had disguised himself like Naruto had for the majority of their stay in Italy, because Imitsu. Nuff said brats, now let's see your henge. 6 flares of chakra, 6 perfect hen, no wait, what, tch. The Uchiha spawn might have some taste, this is all your fault, you stupid fox. Kaio-chan, I get it, I really do. You treasure the memory of the day we met, and Kurama made one hell of a first impression. But using my 6-year-old Jinchuriki face as your henge defeats the purpose of this subterfuge. Shen, I take it back. Damn tasteless like the rest of his cursed clan. Great, he regressed again, still blaming you, Kurama. The fedora baby wouldn't have recognized him and known exactly where to point his gun. Which was why it was his job now to fend off that fucking persistent killer baby, thus missing the joy of breakfast on a regular basis. And tangerines, because you can never have enough tangerines, Iroasan. Italy might suck for ramen, but it was awesome for tangerines. Savoring his iced green tea, Naruto hummed in acknowledgement. That asshole keeps bothering you, yeah. Area waved him off with aplomb. Uncle Reborn has been keeping an eye on me since Mom passed away. It's nothing new. I can handle him, no worries. What's the problem then? Playing ignorant is not cute, Volp. Shamel glared at him with bleary eyes as he nursed his coffee. Never a morning person, but damn, did someone piss in his cereal today or something? She's saying that maybe it's time to establish yourself. You can't hide behind Giglio Nero's name forever, you know, not if you want respect in our world. People will keep pushing you, trying to snatch your kids away, if you don't state loud and clear to where they belong. Well, when he put it that way, his head thumped against the tabletop, accompanying Area's rhythmic tempo. A headache was building behind his temples, and not from his dramatics, and yeah. He had known it would happen sooner or later, but it was way too fucking early to deal with this shitstorm. Shit, lifting his head, he swigged his tea in 5 gulps, slamming it down, annoyed and frustrated and eyeing the booze cabinet. I get it all right. It's not that easy though. There's school and parents and civilian bullshit in the way. My kids aren't ready for that kind of venture. Silence fell over the table as they pondered the subject of how to mafia for middle school kids. What if you focus on finding your niche for now? Still quite blasé, but now there were 4 fingers tapping, a faraway look in Aria's eyes, a deep, prescient blue. Not all famiglia are about fighting power. Some of them specialize in other things. Take the Bovino and their technology, for example. It struck him like lightning. Naruto banged his head again, because it was so goddamn obvious, and he was an idiot, and the Nidaime must be laughing at him from the grave. His parents, too. And damn it, Iro-senin. Then Shamel appended the fruit bowl over his head, and he came to his senses, and oh, tangerines, thanks man. Throwing his head back, he bellowed to the great beyond, but mostly at the ceiling. Fuinjutsu, I love you. Nidaime, for a humorless bastard, you had awesome paperwork ninja skills. Kachan, Tochan, I'm sorry I can't be a badass seal master like you were. Iro-senin, you can go suck a dick. After getting all that off his chest, Naruto grinned and peeled his consolation tangerine, while Shamel stared at him as if he had gone mad, the apple heathen. Ugh, why eat apples when you can have tangerines? Man, Aria understood him. She giggled that amused I saw this like 10 seconds ago giggle and made a gimme motion. Reluctantly, he shared one half. Heya-chan's been soaking up ceiling theory like a sponge. He's got a long way to go, but kid's a damn genius. His head's full of all these ideas, you know. Like fuck, it's insane, it's just so, he's brilliant. Refilling the fruit bowl, Shamel pierced him with another laser-like glare, and did he? Oh hell no, he did not just take his tangerines hostage. Yeah, I do know, intimately. What I didn't know was that even faulty explosive tags explode, but thank you for letting me study them with every inch of my body. This meant war. Naruto chewed his tangerine slice, swallowed slowly, and said as sweetly as the nectar melting on his tongue, you think it's bad now. Fruit bowl held close in his arms, Shamel flinched and hugged it tighter. It can get worse. Explosive tags are among the easiest seals to customize. Naruto's gaze zeroed in on the fruit bowl, passing the silent message, I'll keep talking till you release the hostages, you filthy fruit napper. You can play with range, chakra, time delay, proximity, even connect them to another ceiling matrix and stuff like that. Just wait till Heya-chan starts adding things beyond the standard triggers. He can even attune them to your chakra if he gets a sample, so all he has to do is slip one under your bed and you go kaboom, without him being near the area. Despite having gone white as a sheet, neither his arms nor his voice wavered when Shamel relinquished both fruit bowl and dignity. Thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't terrified enough before, putting up a brave front, huh, now that won't do, Iro-asen. Terrified, ha. Naruto tusked, mock pity and triumph slathered on his face, cuddling the fruit bowl with one arm and high-fiving Aria with the other. Please, Iro-asen. I was just talking about explosive tags. You haven't heard terrifying yet. You gotta think outside the box. Shamel cast his gaze heavenwards, but mostly at the ceiling, sightless and beseeching the gods for mercy. Please stop talking. Satisfied, Naruto gorged himself on the spoils of war. Victory tasted oh so sweet. Anyway, my point is Fuinjutsu's something new, right? We can make it our business from back home, like market our storage seals and explosive tags, maybe barrier and trap seals, too. Simple stuff, nothing complicated or beyond grade 2, or sage forbid, unfucking real space-time and reanimation seals. Abruptly, Shamel snapped out of his prayers, and whoa, his glare sizzled. God admit, Valp, I said I didn't want to know. Now my dreams will be filled with reality, breaking apart and zombies feasting on my flesh, while Hayato laughs in the distance. Now that imagery, premonition, his super intuition chimed, stuck into Naruto's mind, until Aria flashed him those deep blues of hers and purred. Hot as fuck and all but projecting give it to me, I want it bad. We get a discount, right, Naruto-kun? Damn woman. Naruto was proud to admit he lasted 93 seconds before folding like a wet tissue. If we make the alliance official, yeah. An orange manila folder appeared in Arya's hands before he even finished his sentence, as if from thin air. When Naruto stared at her, amused but deadpan, she pursed her pretty lips and pouted, sliding the folder across the table. What, I like to be prepared. Prepared Reite, that was one word for it. He snorted, sealing the folder away. I'll look it over. Now that it was official though, why not go all the way? Naruto unsealed his Fuinjutsu supplies, dipped his brush into the ink, and began drawing their emblem on a blank paper. Kids would love it. They were all for formal shinobi shit like ranks and flak jackets and whatnot. A shadow distracted him midway. Naruto twisted his head to find Shamel peering over his shoulder at the half-drawn symbols. We're really doing this, huh? Wait, what? Did he say we, not you? A soft brush of fire then, indigo and orange burning, meshing, harmonizing. Naruto grinned because it felt right and he just snagged a Jonin and hell yeah, they were doing this. MHM. You've got credibility and the mafia contacts, we need to start the ball rolling. I'll deal with production for now, till Heichan gets past basic Fuinjutsu theory. His calligraphy ain't half bad either, but it needs work. Plus, Heichan'll be happier working on the R&D side of things. Shamel huffed a short, deranged laugh, nearly braining him with an apple. Dodging with insulting ease, not a single drop of ink wasted, Naruto chuckled and carried on with his outline. Tetsu-chan's an administration whiz. Kusa-chan's great with numbers. Kyoko-chan and Hana-chan make one hell of a marketing duo. I'm sure Kuro-chan will dabble in a little bit of everything. The rest can choose where they want to get involved or stick to regular missions. Taking 1 week off from school every 2 months or so won't be hard to cover. And well, we've got clones if it gets too much to handle. One last stroke of his brush. With a flourish, Naruto presented his masterpiece, letting them examine it as the ink dried. Give it a few years, and we'll be a pretty big name in the mafia. You've thought this through, Shamel muttered, contemplative, mapping out swirls and lines and old, forgotten symbols. The kanji for Konoha stood above the standard Fuin circle, and inside, the Konoha leaf boldly drew the eye like the center of the sun. I just have one question. His gaze lifted from the paper, connected with Naruto's, a fond, warm brown that quietly asked, why Konoha? And Naruto looked at them, as he had once looked at his brats years ago, when he realized they were there and they were his, and introduced them to Kurama. He looked at Arya, who saw the world through a million reflections of what can be, and saw him. He looked at Shamel, who was so much like his mentors that it hurt, and it soothed all at once. He looked at his family and said, smiling and time-worn and so fucking glad they had found each other, I'm gonna need sake for that story. As if from thin air again, a sake bottle appeared in Arya's hands, and Naruto burst out laughing, because was she for real or what? Agama Jiji had nothing on Arya and her freaky psychic bullshit. Wiping his eyes with the back of his hand, those were happy, manful tears. He wasn't crying, damn it, he prodded the fox. Wanna join? Kurama's stare was blazing red with that all-knowing smugness, his mouth a sardonic show of fangs as he grinned down at Naruto. I suppose I could socialize with these humans. You could have done worse, he then snarled as was par for the course with him, and I do tell that story better. You tend to emphasize minor details like the Uchiha's insignificant contributions while understating their heinous transgressions. Naruto snorted. Sure you do. It was late August, late morning, and Sardinia was paradise on earth. Arya's suggestion to take a short vacation on the island while the rumor mill piped down was a godsend. Naruto lounged on a chaise, sipping a fruity, colorful cocktail and reading through Shamel's potential client notes. The pervert was ogling the throng of tanning female bodies, giggling and adding lines to his notebook, though he had derailed from subject half an hour ago. If Naruto had to skim through another fucking ode to Venus and god-awful softcore poetry about the passions of the flesh, he'd set both notes and man on fire. His kids had appropriated a small part of the beach for themselves, cleverly masked under genjutsu, and were playing in the sand under the scorching sun. They were having fun with an all-out, small-scale water war. Seeing as he wouldn't be making much progress, what with the pervert's straying attention, Naruto put the notes down, stretched his muscles, and casually relocated himself to the table on the other side of the beach bar. The green-haired, bespectacled killer baby occupying the table spared him a teensy-weensy glance, then resumed his engrossed observation of Naruto's brats. I am not interested. Consider this my response to whatever piqued your curiosity, and do not waste my time with trite excuses. My research is far more important than anything you have to say. Normally, Naruto would have declared open season on Baby Kabuto, but he was just so fucking mellow right now that he couldn't muster the energy to give a flying fuck, much less sink into a nin-animal blind rage. Also, they were lying low. Last thing he needed was to reignite the rumors, so he parked his ass and smiled a lazy, dangerous smile. That's funny, cause I thought you were very interested in my kids, judging by the way you've been observing them for the past half hour. Baby Kabuto finally regarded him with something other than bored condescension. Pardon me, it seems we have gotten off to a bad start, unintentionally, I assure you. Adjusting his glasses, he cleared his throat, as if it took major brain effort for him to come up with unintentionally as a decent excuse for being a dick. Verd. I am first and foremost a scientist, and you can call me Naruto. I'm many things, but what's relevant here is that I'm responsible for those kids. Mind telling me what caught your attention? The lenses of his round glasses glinted in the sun, but Naruto didn't need to see Baby Kabuto's eyes to judge his sincerity. He could hear it in his voice in tandem, with a clinical sort of giddiness that clashed horribly with his overall attitude. Their manipulation of flames is unique. Innovative, to be precise, riveting, if you wish to be poetic. Did you introduce them to such novel techniques? Man, these scientist types were all a bunch of awkward islands, but at least the ice had been broken. Yeah, I taught them, though as you can see, they're still learning. As they watched the kitty battle royale, Naruto pointed out Ken's perfectly timed but clumsy execution of the Inuzuka clan's Tsuga. That right there is if done right, middle-level stuff at best. Then Kyoya's, why are you breaking out the Akimichi's Choharite, brat? We're on a civilian beach, for fuck's sake. Oh, you cut down the chakra by 3/4. Never mind, carry on. But what Kaio-chan's doing can be high-level depending on how much chakra he pumps into it. Fascinating, Baby Kabuto breathed out, mimicking Shamel's fervent note-taking pace. The similarity was jarring enough to make Naruto wince. They're getting better every day. He shrugged his shoulders, because this was pretty much routine for him, then broached the matter that had brought him to Baby Kabuto's table in the first place. What I find fascinating is your animal partner. Both Baby Kabuto and Nin Animal blinked at the same time, and whoa, that was even more jarring. Oh. He is an alligatorid crocodilian, belonging to the subfamily Caimanini, with the distinctive ability to alter his size. Tiny fingers stroked the expanse of the reptile's spine as he stopped talking, uncomfortable and seeming out of words. His name is Cayman, Baby Kabuto ended up blurting, which was kinda hilarious and sad. How unoriginal the name was, despite the owner's vaunted genius. Also the fact his only friend seemed to be a moody baby reptile. So, he's a size-changing Cayman. Naruto's mouth twitched, but to his credit, he made a valiant effort to withhold his laughter. How did you come by him? And damn if that wasn't a taboo question, because Baby Kabuto's fingers stilled. The baby reptile glared yellow-slit murder. And he coldly said, I did not acquire him through conventional means, and that is all I am willing to reveal concerning this matter. That's a pity, a sigh. Naruto didn't want to push Baby Kabuto's buttons, putting the fear of God in killer babies. Yeah, bring it on, bitches. Twisting the knife in old wounds. Nah, that shit was cruel. But, and this was an important but. See, my kids have been pestering me for ages about getting them an animal partner. Problem is, nin animals like your Cayman are quite rare. In fact, I've only ever seen them in the company of Arcobolino. That is a shame, but I fail to grasp how it correlates with our discussion. Have you ever thought of replicating those unconventional means? No, sore subject, quite. At this point, Naruto was ready to throw in the towel, and he would have, honest, if Baby Kabuto, probably sensing his mounting desperation, hadn't fiddled with the skeleton of his glasses and thrown him a bone. I have entertained the idea of animal box weapons, however. Oh, animal box weapons, you say. A hungry, demented glint entered Naruto's gaze. Baby Kabuto returned it tenfold. They stared at each other with the ferocity of starving beasts and the implacable will of men who would chase their dreams to the edge of insanity. Something deep resonated. It might have been empathy, it might have been solidarity, it might have been fire chakra, but they were too far gone to notice. Yes, you see, the original concept was derived from the work of a biologist 4 centuries prior to our time. Geppetto Lorenzini theorized. Naruto listened, nodded here and there, marveled at the ingenuity of the original concept. And when Baby Kabuto finished with an aggrieved sigh, irritated at his own inability to actualize Lorenzini's vision, he grinned and played his trump card. I see your problem. What if I could provide an alternative solution? Sunlight reflected off the surface of Baby Kabuto's glasses, so bright it near blinded Naruto, as he stared into his eyes for a drawn-out moment. Then you would have my complete and undivided attention. Dipping his hand inside the pocket of his summer shorts to disguise his actions, Naruto pushed chakra into the storage seal drawn on his wristband and brought out the pack of grade 1 seals in it. This is a storage seal. He separated one from the pack and passed it over when Baby Kabuto extended his arm, not that it'd do him any good. Genius scientist he might be, but Fuinjutsu was an art that took knowledge and patience and teachers and years to understand. The short explanation is that it stores things, from solid objects to pure flames to anything really. The implication of like storing fire chakra animals into boxes was impossible to miss. There have been hypotheses of conceptual seals even, but that's not my field of expertise. Fuinjutsu is an ancient and complicated art, and as of now, exclusive to my famiglia. Baby Kabuto was too intelligent not to grasp all implications. You want me to join your famiglia? Confused as if nobody had ever offered, and damn it, Baby Kabuto, that was just sad, way too much like his namesake, which meant he'd make an excellent mother. Sweet. Naruto's grin widened. Yup, why? Still confused, but purple eyes clear through the lenses, razor sharp and demanding, and more than a little considering. I need a head for the R&D department. Truth, but more than that, nin animals. Heichan's a genius, yeah, but no matter how fast he picks up theory, he's still young and inexperienced. You, on the other hand, he didn't need to complete the sentence, they both knew. Baby Kabuto's hand reached for his ninkamen, fingers running up and down, a compulsive, absent-minded pattern, a chain of fast, agitated words erupting from his throat. I am not accustomed to working with others. They slow down my research and they cannot understand the simplest theorems, and they call my testing methods unethical, and my kids will love you. And Naruto meant it. Those little monsters would love testing out new weapons and armor and seals and all kinds of dangerous shit, and nin animals, because he couldn't stress that enough. Hell, Naruto wouldn't be surprised if they built an altar in Baby Kabuto's honor. The petting stopped. Baby Kabuto blinked, pushing his glasses up his nose, and said with the air of someone who had irrefutable scientific evidence, I highly doubt that. Past experience with pre-adolescent children has not yielded positive results. It just showed how little he knew of the world outside his laboratory. Poor, sad bastard. Naruto shook his head. Watch this. 2 loud whistles. The battle royale came to a sudden halt as his brats heeded the code for ceasefire. Even Shamel's gaze was drawn away from the nubile young flesh he'd been feasting on. Oi, Heichan, see me a minute. There's somebody I want you to meet. Hayato sprinted across the sand not 1 second after his name was shouted, and of course, the whole pack followed. Singed, bruised, grazed, out of breath but wildly grinning, he collided with Naruto's legs. Naruto laughed as he helped him up, while the rest gathered around the table with curious expressions. Except Kyoya, that hellspawn was visibly devouring the ninkamen and eyeballing Naruto, back and forth and expectant. This is Verd and he. That was as far as he got before Hayato climbed up his lap and barely refrained from throwing himself across the table at Baby Kabuto. I know who he is. Who hasn't heard of Verd? I can't believe this. This is so amazing. Baby Kabuto had this bewildered look on his face. As if science had failed him for the first time in his life, and how the fuck had that happened, while Hayato kept rambling on and on and on. Your recent literature on flame robotics engineering. It didn't help matters when the other brats chipped. in with their unique welcome after being clued in by Naruto during Hayato's incomprehensible rambling. To everyone else, Verd understood every single word. He just had trouble believing it came out of the boy's mouth. Will Verd-san upgrade our weapons? Kyoya testing sounds like fun. I'm in. Takshi, nice to meet you, Verd-san. Welcome to the family. Kyoko, an intelligent person will be appreciated around here. Hana, pleased to meet you, Verd-san. I look forward to working with you. Tetsuya, I've never met a famous scientist before. You must be extremely smart. Ryohei Kyufufu. Interesting. Mukuro, I do not consent to genetic modification and invasive surgical procedures. Verd-san. If you agree to these terms, I have no issue with testing your inventions. Chikusa, no animal experimentation or testing, either, Verd-san, and we're cool, Bayon. Ken, all Naruto had to say after the Kitty Welcome Committee was, we live in Namamori, Japan. Baby Kabuto nodded once, palm obscuring his glasses and voice oddly quiet, verging on choked up. I will cover the expenses for procuring an estate and transferring my equipment, but I will expect you to fund my research once I am settled. Deal. Naruto raised his fist Killer Bee style, fiery orange licking at his skin. 5 seconds later, a tiny fist met the center of his knuckles with a crackle of green thunder. Shamel chuckled, only you, Volp. Chapter 16. Chapter text. Like all good things, summer came to an end all too soon, and with it, their Italian escapades. Arya was devastated to see them go at the airport, drowning his brats in hugs and kisses and presents, all the while sending Gamma that put a baby in me or else look. Gamma, the poor fuck, was trapped between feeling the yes I'm finally free ecstasy and the I'm never gonna be free of my damnation. It wasn't an attractive look on him. Shamel waggled his brows and covertly slipped him a bottle of pills right before they boarded their plane, which Naruto complimented by adding an illustrated BDSM for Dummies manual. Gamma's roar of anguish when Arya found them could be heard all the way to the jet bridge. Naruto missed them already. 15 hours later, they arrived in Japan, specifically at Baby Kabuto's recently purchased estate, where Team C plus Hayato were dropped off, indefinitely. Verd was ensconced in his laboratory, up to his neck in Fuinjutsu studies, thus too preoccupied to notice their intrusion. He dismissed the shiver that crawled down the line of his vertebrae as mild exhaustion and caffeine jitters, until the creepy murder laughter started, and by then it was too late. The first thing Naruto did after depositing the rest of his kids to their respective homes was to drag Shamel over to his place and have him examine Nana. It had been gnawing at him for years. He'd be damned if he didn't find a way to cure that poor woman from whatever mindfuckery she was afflicted with. So, Naruto tapped his foot, staring at Nana's unconscious body laid out on the couch, impatient and worried, and not liking how Shamel grimaced when he withdrew his fire chakra. Complicated, sighing, Shamel sat down and lit a cigarette skin tight around his mouth, exhaling deeply. I detected some minuscule traces of mistampering, but they're so faint it must have been done years ago. More than a decade maybe, by now it's more like echoes. I can't even pinpoint what exactly was done to her, but my best guess would be memory modification. Goddamn it, he fucking knew it. Anger amassed and seethed low in his stomach, fueled by the sudden assault of Kurama's rage and memories under Madara's thrall. Barely tempered by the implied, not brainwashing or some shit. No, a headshake, definite, reassuring. It would have raised a big red flag when I went in. That kind of mistampering doesn't fade. It has to be sustained, you know. Adult minds aren't as easy to reprogram as children's because they are already developed. If you don't strengthen it every few months, they start to fight back and revert to their original personality. As nauseating as that was to hear, it loosened something in Naruto's gut, calmed Kurama's rage down to the ever-present, simmering resentment. I see. What's complicated then? You do have a theory, right? I think, Shamel hummed, brought the ashtray closer and flicked the ash off his cigarette, his words slow and measured. It might be subliminal stimuli. Whatever happened must have affected her so deeply that even if it was erased from her memory, it still left mental scars. But since she can't remember what it was, he shrugged, but the message was loud and clear. Naruto nodded, picking up from where the man left off. It messed her up. Now she's conditioned to ignore anything that might be alarming or dangerous or inexplicable cause. There's this little voice in her head saying everything's fine. You're fine, nobody's gonna hurt you, nothing's wrong here. Shamel's smile was a grim confirmation. Biting off a curse, Naruto stole one of his cigarettes. It was that or alcohol, and if he started drinking, he might not stop until he was buzzed enough to mindlessly destroy half the town. Who the fuck had hurt her so bad that Imitsu had to mindfuck it out of her? He was half hoping whoever it was yet lived, just so he could rip out their heart and feed it to them raw. Claw out their stomach and choke them with their own intestines. Kurama, please. Just not now. The fox went quiet, but his thoughts scraped against the walls of Naruto's mind, red as blood, dark as murder. Naruto breathed in the smoke, breathed out the aggression. Can it be undone? The memory fuck up? No, it's too late for that, and I wouldn't suggest it even if it could be done. A sigh gusted out of his lungs. Heavy, tired, as if he had been asked this question too many times, but it never got easier to give this line when they looked him in the eye and waited for something different. They aren't repressed memories, they're just gone. The shadow's still there, yes, but the body's missing. He saw red, then black, then all-consuming, burning fury. So what do you suggest? I can't leave her like that. I can't protect her from herself. She's like a walking, talking victim, for fuck's sake. Just a lamb led to the slaughter. When Naruto snarled, cigarette crushed and sizzling inside his fist, Shamel gripped his wrist tight, kept him in place with soft but meaningless words, and something bit him. Even in his blinding fury, he had seen it coming, could have stopped it, but he trusted Shamel, trusted him to calm washed over him, rationality. The fog lifted from his eyes. Naruto blinked, put his head between his hands, and focused on just breathing. Shamel sighed as if he had also seen this too many times, but carried on as if it hadn't happened, and for that, Naruto was grateful. Well, we could treat it like Alzheimer's. I mean the symptoms match: memory loss, decreased or poor judgment, problems with thinking and reasoning. It could work for all you know, and if we don't see an improvement, we can try standard trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. Though without knowing what caused the trauma, again he trailed off, and again Naruto voiced his line of thought, like there had never been a moment where he fucking lost it. Assassination attempt, hostage situation with short-term torture, sexual assault. Wary brown eyes met his, judging his state of mind, then Shamel carefully said, "It could be anything, but you're asking the wrong person." Naruto chuckled, a cracked, bitter sound, and it all comes back to Imitsu. He couldn't care less about the shitty seal, the lies, the idiocy, the absence, but this. Why is it always instant fire chakra fuckery with him? How hard could it have been to just take her to a goddamn doctor? He's mafia. There was understanding in those brown eyes, but also acceptance, matter of fact, and this is life for us, and it is what it is. We never do things the normal way. Naruto knew that, had known it longer than Shamel had lived. He had never accepted it, still couldn't accept it. Bullshit. It goes beyond that, Iroasan. If you don't like how it is, then you change it. Shamel gazed at him, hearing what went unspoken, smiling and wanting to believe him. True. That's why I followed you, his gaze seemed to say, as warm as it was jaded, but not even you can change the past. But have you wondered if maybe she was the one who begged him to take the pain away? And to that, Naruto had no answer, only a groan of misery. This is giving me a headache. Maybe he should have gone with alcohol to drown out his impotent rage against the demons in his mother's past. Naruto dove headfirst into Project Assemble Team D, training Team C, and planning the Chunin exams for Teams A and B. It was going well too, until one fine Sunday morning, Mukuro woke up, came down for breakfast, and declared he wanted his eggs sunny side up and to adopt a little girl because her mist called to mine. I can't ignore her after that now, can I? Please pass me the raspberry jam. Well, look at you, at the tender age of 11 and ready to be a daddy. Good for you, Kuro-chan. Naruto passed the little shit's jam to baby Kabuto and made him an omelet instead. He had learned from the Nara tofu incident that passive-aggressive bullshit got under people's skin better than anything if kept up long enough. Baby Kabuto smirked and dug in with gusto, all shining glasses and schadenfreude, while Mukuro's innocent smile turned to stone. It became worse when Naruto caved. because he was a bleeding heart and a sucker for lonely kids. That little shit cackled and met the girl, or to be more precise, the girl's so-called family. Not that they knew he met them. Naruto leaned his back against the wall and stared at the meek girl sitting on the edge of the bed inside Baby Kabuto's state-of-the-art infirmary. Shamald given her a routine checkup, proclaimed her malnourished but otherwise healthy, and skipped out of the room with a grin that foretold groping hands and slaps to the face and kicks to the nuts. His mouth curved into a gentle smile that she tentatively returned. So far, so good. Nagi-chan, he began, but faltered when she flinched. At what? The mere sound of her name. Damn, just what had those bastards done to this poor girl's self-esteem? Inhaling through his nose, he put a lid on his temper and soldiered on. I don't usually do this, but you're a special case, and he proceeded to tell her everything. Because he might not know how to deal with abused little girls, but he was 100% certain the last thing she needed was pretty lies and hollow promises. Nagi listened to his voice with that nervous meekness sticking to her skin and wonder in her eyes, but never once did she interrupt or doubt him. After all had been laid bare, the good, the ugly, the strange and the stranger, Naruto sought her eyes and didn't let her hide beneath her bangs. The question is, what do you want? Why? It started as a whisper, trembling and confused and near inaudible. She swallowed once, twice, tried again. I mean, I understood what you said about fire chakra. Or was it flames? He shrugged. Whatever you want to call it, it's all the same. Nagi nodded, gaining confidence and volume from his laid-back posture. And the mafia people and your famiglia. Another shrug, another nod. But why? Why did you care? Why did you want me? Why me? Naruto heard all that and more. Endless whys and self-deprecation. The cries of a girl who had given up on the world because the world had given up on her first. Because you're a kid, he said to that lost little girl. A good girl who got dealt a bad hand in life. It wasn't your fault, but you can't change things by yourself because you're just a kid. You deserve a chance to live, Nagi-chan. To love and be loved, be happy and free, whatever you want to be. Her eyes had grown so large that they almost swallowed half her face. Was it really so hard for her to believe that? It tugged at his heartstrings, damn it. Naruto sighed, a crooked, rueful smile on his lips. And you remind me of someone I once knew. Nagi looked as if she wanted to ask who, but was too shy, too used to staying silent and invisible, because questions and attention brought nothing but trouble. Breaking her out of that habit would take time and patience, and Naruto really wanted to beat the crap out of her family. Oi, Kuro-chan, shit. She almost jumped out of her skin. Again, right, indoor voice, copy that. Keep Ryohei away for now. Stop eavesdropping and come over here. Mukuro slithered into the room with no shame and the languorous danger of a python. That brat, so damn uncute, so getting boiled eggs tomorrow. Link me with Nagi-chan for a bit, will ya? You can even stay to watch, or no, you know what? This reminds me, I've been meaning to show you some stuff but kept forgetting. Now's a good time as any to do this. Intrigue darkened those mismatched eyes, lessened the contrast, amplified the danger. For Mukuro, that was. Kurama wanted to eat the fake Krinigan eyeball. A labyrinth of pipes manifested when they were drawn inside his mindscape. Naruto drop-kicked Mukuro into the pipe that contained the memories he had selected for the brat and ushered Nagi towards their own pipe. Whatever the girl had expected would greet her, Naruto couldn't guess at, but her expression of unadulterated shock screamed it wasn't the Dangoya. Konoha's famous dango shop, and its even more famous best customer, Mitarashi Anko. Moving slowly so as not to startle her further, Naruto wrapped an arm around her shoulders and pointed her in Anko's direction. Nagi blinked her large eyes, tilted her head and drank in the woman's I'm the head bitch here bitches, come to mama dango attitude. See that woman in the trench coat, the sexy dango maniac, and ooh, was that a giggle? Hell yeah, it was. Success. Taking the empty bench opposite from Anko, Naruto pulled the girl up and onto his lap and let her study Anko's superhuman dango-eating speed as he talked. It was truly a sight to see. Among the 7 wonders of Konoha, Naruto was damn proud his ramen-eating capacity was another. Nobody had ever beaten his Ikaraku record of 68 bowls under 1 hour, and boy, had good all Choji tried. On a lesser note, the Forest of Death came last on the list, and Hade Kakashi's unmasked face topped it. she was just like you once. A good kid, a nice girl betrayed by the man she trusted most in the world, used and discarded by the one person who was supposed to teach and nurture and support her. She loved him, idolized him, took his word as gospel. She gave him everything, but she still wasn't enough for him. Naga's head slanted far back until she was peeking up at him through thick lashes, disbelieving but desperately wishing to believe. Because if this woman had once been like her, maybe, just maybe, there was hope for her too. Naruto was all for giving her that hope, but look at her. Can you guess what she did? A timid denial fell from Naga's lips. Naruto paused for dramatic effect, the moment charged with anticipation, the suspense skyrocketing, Naga's heartbeat accelerating, competing with Anko's dango-eating pace. Then she walked away, a gasp echoed, Naga's jaw slackened. She sucked in a sharp breath, eyes on Anko again, pupils blown and bones grinding in her neck at the too-fast motion. Trailing over the dips and angles of Anko's face, as if she wanted to etch the shape of that face into her memory, what winning against the world looked like. She made the choice to leave him, to put all that crap behind her, then she picked up the pieces, picked her own family and friends and comrades. Took her life into her own hands and worked her ass off to become so badass, nobody dared talk shit about her. She was one of the best interrogators and infiltration specialists I've ever known, and one damn scary bitch when you stole her dango. Naruto leaned his head down, a light brush of lips and breath against her ear, anchoring the girl in his arms, and said with warm remembrance. The will of fire ringing through his words, all because Sarutobi Jiji gave her a chance to be herself and prove she could become whatever she wanted. Silence enveloped them. Nagi burrowed into his arms, thin fingers squeezing his forearm, as they watched Anko demolish her 35th dango stick. As Mukuro stealthily joined them on the bench, a little closer than the brat's usual comfort zone, leeching off their heat and feelings. An eternity passed, then Naga's voice filled the silence, quiet but alive, vivid with color and the bright hope of the newborn. What was her name? Anko. Do you think she would mind if? I don't want to be Nagi anymore. I think she'd be hella flattered and proud of you, Anko-chan. I know I am. Mini Anko pressed her face against his forearm, imprinting her first happy smile onto his skin. Mukuro drew a little closer, and no matter how innocent his smile was, Naruto knew the brat was shaken, disturbed, disgusted. The face of his playthings after he was bored with breaking them, so Naruto glomped him. That brat, uncute as he was, put up a token struggle, but tellingly no eldritch abominations came to his rescue. Same goes for you, Kuro-chan. You can do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be. I don't care if you like to play mind games or ruin the lives of assholes everywhere or paint your walls red with the filthy blood of mafia scum. I only care about one thing. A red eye peered at him from inside the cage of Naruto's arm. Never become that man. I would never. A low snake hiss, dripping with venom and revulsion, then right on cue, creepy murder laughter. His fashion sense was terrible. Naruto mussed his hair and tried to smother him, but Mini Anko giggled at that lame joke, so he didn't try too hard. Seriously though, was the brat kidding or going blind? His fashion sense was just as weird-ass as Orochimaru's. When Mini Anko came to practice 2 days later, arm in arm with her new best friends, Kyoko and Hana. Smiling with all her teeth and wearing a leather trench coat, purple hair tied up in a short, spiky ponytail and bento full of dango, Naruto winked at her and excused himself to go die laughing up a tree. He was pretty sure Anko must be laughing up there too. Practice didn't work out as planned because Mukuro, the uncute little shit, wanted Mini Anko on Team C, and Hayato was gracious enough to allow it. He was kind of scared of Mini Anko and the way she twirled her dango sticks to fight for her, with good reason. Naruto made sure the first thing he taught her was how to coat them with chakra and poison, and where to stick them for maximum pain and humiliation. It was for the best, though. Mini Anko was the catalyst for change in the rivalry between Kyoya and Mukuro. While the girls got on like a house on fire and had fun with 2-on-2 battles, the boys went from back off she's mine territorial bullshit to mine's better than yours dick contests. Naruto wasn't sure if they were now gonna be a fucked up love quartet or double dating or what. Another plus was that Kyoya got fired up and took it upon himself to scour Namamori for Team D potential recruits. If Mukuro could do it in his sleep, then by the gods, Kyoya wouldn't sleep until he one-upped him. And because he was Hibari, I motherfucking rule Namamori Kyoya, he found them in record time. Yellow Kyoya reported in mission mode as he flung a trussed-up and gagged redhead with rectangular glasses down on the ground. Naruto sighed and pinched the bridge of his nose. When Kyoya displayed no remorse for the rough treatment, he dismissed the little hellion and bent down to cut off the rope binding the poor boy's wrists and ankles. Really, Kyo-chan. Tying up and gagging him was the best you could do. You're slipping, brat. You could have just knocked him out and spared me the hysterics. While what's going on? Who are you people? Are you some kind of juvenile yakuza? Oh gods, you are, aren't you? What do you want with me? Is it my organs? No, my brain makes more sense, but how did you know about my secret hack? Yeah, Naruto fucking called it. Kid, wah-oh. The kid mercifully paused in the middle of his full-blown hysteria to gaze up at him with fearful eyes. Sheepish, but still scared out of his wits, he croaked, yes. Brow arched dryly, Naruto gestured over to the girls' picnic. Do we look like we are in the business of kidnapping random children off the streets and selling them to the highest bidder? Blinking rapidly, the kid observed the girls and stuttered out, nuo. Only to fold in on himself, clutching at his abdomen as if he had suddenly come down with appendicitis. Sorry, I didn't mean to accuse you of trafficking or anything. Gods know my stomach hurts, and, well, he could work with that, probably. Also, the kid reminded him of Amoy, and that dude was hilarious, so, kid, yees. You have issues, I know, I can help you. How Naruto grinned. It was neither nice nor comforting. The kid fainted, or his appendix ruptured. It was kind of hard to tell the difference. Purple Kyoya reported in mission mode as he sauntered into the training ground while carrying a blushing and talking a mile-a-minute brunette in a fairy costume. Bridal style, that little comment about slipping standards worked like a charm. Naruto gave him a thumbs up when he gently let her down. Hi. Haru got stolen by a pretty boy. Is he Haru's Prince Charming? Haru thinks he's a little too violent to be the shining prince in her fairy tale. But duo, Haru gets it. He's the dragon, all fire and claws and teeth and rower. Kyoya actually nodded. Hell, that little beast was preening as if she had paid him the greatest compliment. Haru knew it. Fairy Girl gave the boy a sage nod, gaze darting around, searching the training area and scrutinizing its scant occupants. Only Hayato and Naruto were present at the time. But then where's there's another pretty boy, that luscious silver hair, those gorgeous green eyes. Yes, he can be Haru's Prince Charming, like hell I will. You're delusional, you stupid woman. Naturally, Hayato exploded, but Fairy Girl didn't miss a step. Hi, who are you calling stupid? You pretty boy villain. Naruto grinned, tousling Kyoya's hair. Good job, Kyo-chan. 20 minutes later, once the whole group had arrived, he shouted, Teams A and B. They gathered like bees to honey. A little off to the side, Hayato and Fairy Girl were still bickering like an old married couple. One by one, he eyed them and smiled at their cute please say the time has come sensei faces, finally announcing, the Chunin exams will take place in 2 weeks as promised. Prepare yourselves and make me proud. We will not disappoint you, sensei. Kyoya, who had yet to cease preening, smirked a Katate the Canary smirk and sauntered off. Come Kyoko Takeshi, we will train in my clan's dojo. That man is visiting. Least he can do is make himself useful for once. Coming, Kyoya-kun. Flouncing off after her other half, Kyoko kept waving at Naruto, Genjutsu smile on full blast. We'll do our best, Naruto-sensei. Fonsan's here. Grinning like a loon, but eyes sharp with deadly focus, Takeshi sprinted off after them. This'll be so much fun then. I can't wait. Thank you for the opportunity, sensei. We will put forth our greatest effort. Tetsuya, the kami-given gift, bowed his head, respectful and polite as ever, then offered his arm to Hana like a little gentleman, and off they waltzed into the sunset. In that case, we should ask Shamel-san and Verd-san to train us. Hana, your opinion, agreed Tetsu, lead on. Hana didn't even give Naruto a backwards glance, hanging off Tetsuya's arm as they walked away like something out of Regency novels. Finally, no more D-ranks. Ugh, children. To be fair though, they didn't give Ryohei the time of day either. Extreme, bring it on, hey wait for me team, Naruto laughed. Chunin exams HM should be interesting. Hayato and Fairy Girl didn't even notice when everyone left. That was one hell of a petty marital spat. Chapter 17, chapter text, Naruto was beginning to recognize a pattern, nay, a tradition. It had started with Kyoko dragging Hana to practice that fated day 5 years ago. Continued with Kyoya copying his better half by bringing Tetsuya into the fold, and so on and so forth, but more importantly, it had yet to stop. It will never stop, his super intuition euphorically crooned as Naruto stood beside a mountain of a man, call me Poppy. M'boy jovial as hell and British accent thick and skin weather-worn. Beholding the spectacle that was Shoichi clinging to a corn-haired, green-eyed boy like a baby cola, crippling stomachaches and strawberry lollipops and technobabble galore. The boy's name was something posh and suitably British, but call me Spanner, Konoha, which wow. That drawl of sweet apathy would have made him an honorary Nara on the spot, and he had allegedly come. For emotional support after a distressed Shoichi bewailed his loss of normalcy over the internet. Poppy, the boy's grandfather, was retired Captain Charles Royston of the Royal Navy. An old hand at chasing adventure and a religious believer in the sea creed, go where the wind blows. Also in full support of his grandson following in his steps and embarking on his own adventure with an impromptu journey to the land of the rising sun. Naruto threw his hands up in the air, added Spanner to Team D for damn smart pains in the ass. Opened Shamel's finest bourbon, which Poppy was very grateful to partake in before he departed with promises of regular communication, and called it a fucking day. Dumping the science brats on a half-cherry, half-charmed baby Kabuto, he left the mansion to visit Fawn. Assuming being around the undisputed champion of keep calm and burn things to ashes would do wonders for his nerves. It turned out to be the wrong assumption. Naruto had forgotten Fawn was also the master of holding grudges like nobody's business and hitting you hard when you were already down. That damn poker face was hella misleading, even when you knew what hid underneath. With that eloquent greeting and 1 foot inside the drawing room, Naruto stilled. Speechless, he stared and kept staring at the pile of fluffy, lotus-patterned blankets arranged on the tatami floor. At the baby girl sucking on her thumb, at Fawn leisurely sipping his ginger tea. Congratulations, Fawn lowered his teacup, caught his stare and smiled. Like whoever told you you're hilarious was a first-class moron, and I'm too disciplined to point it out, and you'll have to try harder than that, smiled. Thank you, Huo. It was so on, you've got guts, bro, I like it. Naruto finally lifted his dead foot, striding inside with a swagger and a cocky grin, crouching down to tickle the baby's tummy. Good thing she didn't have ears, strange, but he'd seen weirder. Like Sasuke sprouting winged hand thingies, because what he said next would have scarred her for life if she was capable of hearing. Or more like comprehension, must have been damn kinky, you lucky bastard, cause you know they all say size doesn't matter, but they never mean it, so where's the proud mother? I'd like to meet this woman of rare honesty. Fawn's smile was a cool, sharp challenge. Your remarkable ability to deliberately misconstrue the situation according to your sense of humor has not changed in the slightest. I see. Truly, you are a man of rare talent. Them too true, you know what else I am. Cooing at the baby's gurgling laughter and spit bubbles, Naruto gave her one last tickle, then moved to the cushion laid for his use, pouring himself a cup of ginger tea. Kinda sweet, not bad. His amusement had all but disintegrated as he sighed and met Fawn's waiting eyes, boldly daring him to bullshit his way out of this. A man of rare intuition, so stop deflecting and spill, who would leave a baby with you. If Fawn was chagrined, it didn't show, but knowing the man, he was probably blaming himself deep down, somehow, someway, because that was what Fawn did. Got cursed with a chakra-sucking abomination, his fault for not seeing through the deceit. Kyoya was an out-of-control little monster, his fault for not being a better instructor. Naruto would eat Kurama's tails if this baby didn't have a sob story that'd make Zabuza cry tears of blood. Holy shit, you pulled a Zabuza, didn't you? The baby is your Haku. Her parents are deceased. She does have 3 surviving relatives on her father's side, but they are civilians. Normally, they would have been contacted, and if they had refused to take her in, she would have been put up for adoption, but her mother's bloodline is special. If I hadn't insisted on taking her as my apprentice, she would have been sent to the Red Dragon, a pause, laden and dipped in red. Even then, it wasn't easy to convince them she would be better trained under my care, but that place is not suitable for children younger than 12 at the very least. Despite Fawn's damn poker face, the soothing quality of his tone, the way he gazed at him with unapologetic veracity, there were too many pauses for Naruto's comfort. The one subsequent to Red Dragon was the longest, the most telling and incriminating, fire and blood and all things red, so basically. Naruto held his cup with one hand, dug the nails of his other hand into his thigh, clay cracking and skin bruising under his grip. She has a near-extinct bloodline limit. Greedy bastards want to exploit an orphan baby. You did something stupidly heroic, and that Red Dragon place isn't suitable for children, period. His voice cut Fawn with the same intensity, gravelly, an undercurrent of violence running through his words. You know this from personal experience. A shrug was all Fawn gave in response, although too smooth, too refined to be called a shrug. Naruto wanted to smack him silly for being so goddamn obstinate, and for making it seem noble instead of the moronic gesture it was. What did you promise them? When will you fucking have enough, you self-sacrificing bastard? You're reaching Kakashi-sensei's levels of stupid guilt complex. Fawn hummed softly, as if what he was about to say would bear no consequence, wouldn't screw up his life 6 ways from Sunday. Which Naruto bet it would. It was a sucker bet, too. Not even Granny Tsunade would have taken those odds. My 20-year contract with the Triads expires in 2 months. I simply promised to renew it. Simply my ass. Scoffing, gaze narrow, Naruto glared at him. You don't want to renew it, do you? Another soft hum. I wouldn't have minded before. Progress, finally. Naruto tilted his head and relaxed his body, coaxing with his voice no longer cutting. What changed? For the first time, Fawn smiled a true smile, a bittersweet thing torn at the edges. You taught Kyoya how to be a protector instead of a berserker. You decided to become actively involved in the mafia. Your famiglia is your family, and your chakra likes my chakra. Naruto went rigid. Of all the stupid truths he'd given him today, all the stupid reasons and deflections and excuses, this had got to be the stupidest. And oh, you magnificent bastard. You don't do things halfway, do you? What he said, he meant. He ripped truth from his tongue, gave it bladed shape, stabbed him with it, brutally. Naruto felt fire on his tongue, in his veins, under his skin, rolled it up, rolled it down, swallowed it whole until there was only heat and the aftertaste of acceptance. A full-body twitch, his orange remembered, but fuck that needy bullshit. Naruto had other shit to deal with here, like, you're never gonna let me live that down, yeah. When Fawn's smile didn't budge an inch, exasperation localized Naruto's twitch to his lips and eyelids. Gingerly, he picked up his cracked cup, gazing down at his reflection. Said nothing, gave nothing, because what could he? All right, got him it, I said it. No take-backs now, and now Fawn went rigid. I'm sorry, all right, what? Playing dense. Awesome poker face he might have, but Fawn couldn't do dense if he tried. Naruto snorted. To quote Kuro-chan, I can't ignore you after that, now can I? Fawn's face was a study in contrasts, like a storm in clear skies, like a natural disaster, from tranquil to agitated to tempestuous. I didn't tell you because I expected. Oh, trust me, I know. You're the stupidly heroic type, not the evilly conniving. You cannot fight, please don't insult me. Nevertheless, nothing. Fawn's face cycled through emotions in reverse, from tempestuous to agitated to tranquil, which was more terrifying in that order. Still waters ran deep and the eye of the storm and all that shit personified, absolute fucking stillness. Then, may I speak? Naruto hemmed and hawed as he casually examined his nails. Shem, they could use a good clipping. Depends, are you gonna say anything, I dunno, witty? 'Cause all I hear so far are lame excuses. And, lo and behold, Fawn raised his arm, pressing red fabric against the lower half of his face, as if that would conceal anything. Please do forgive me. We cannot all be as articulate when we are engaging in friendly conversation. Perhaps if you allowed people to speak freely and frequently, you would have more fulfilling conversations with your peers. There it was in the nuances of his voice, that smooth as silk inflection. grudge-born mockery, petty and sweet as molasses. Fawn wouldn't bat a lash 99.99% of the time, especially at unoriginal, common insults, but a lack of wit. He took that shit seriously and never forgot or forgave. It was a Hibari clan quirk, the inborn ability to hold grudges like no tomorrow. While Kyoya was the I'll bite your death you weak herbivore, Fawn was the I'll mock your death you uncivilized Neanderthal. Naruto beamed all sunshine and stretched cheeks and godliness. You are excused, a rustle of red fabric. Fawn resumed the topic of their conversation, but Naruto acknowledged that rustle as an omen of bad things to come, an ostentatious declaration. Right on, bro. As far as he was concerned, it had been on since his first step inside the drawing room. The triads would have been displeased if I didn't renew my contract, but they would have accepted it in the end due to my Archibaldino status. They are well aware no sky they currently possess can hold me, so it is worthless to even try. Ipin is another matter, though. Both gazed at the snoozing baby wrapped in the cocoon of blankets with warm eyes. Cute, earless midget, Naruto was the first to turn away and shrug. Her ties to the triads died with her parents. They have no legal hold on her. We are mafia, slowly enunciated, coldly pragmatic, and questioning Naruto's intelligence. Exactly, grin wide and borderline sociopathic, Naruto inclined his head in total agreement. We have mafia law. Nonplussed, Fawn stared at him as if this was the start of a joke and he was waiting for the punchline. When it never came, you mean the Vindis. And boy did he sound perturbed by the unlikely choice of saviors. Baby Chief and Undead Co. were so underappreciated, no wonder they had gone postal on the mafia. Yep. Naruto's grin made the transition to full-fledged sociopathy as he dropped the bomb. We're revenge buddies. They're invited for tea parties and everything. Fawn just stared with a momentary brain freeze, then a sort of slow-spreading horror, a dilation of his pupils. What? Man, this was pure gold. Baby Chief would get the good china and chocolate chip cookies when he showed up for that tea party, and there would be lots and lots of pictures if the mere idea elicited that sort of reaction. Nope, not my story to tell. What matters is that I know how to call them, and with their recent rise in motivation, which I am now certain you know nothing about and had nothing to do with, bingo. Naruto reinforced his point with a tongue click, complete with a wink and finger pistol shot. So you see, nothing to worry about. Fawn blinked in recognition of that combo. One of Arya's favorites, that woman was the queen of winks. Still, he appeared to have trouble digesting both wink combo and vote the Vindis for Godfathers campaign. The triads will be more than a little displeased. Fawn, yes, shut the fuck up and go feed your kid. Because she was wide awake and mighty hungry if the loud cries in between thumb-sucking were any indication. Fawn shut up and did. Draining his tea, Naruto reached out an arm and tickled the fussing little lady, then got up to leave just as Fawn returned with 2 bottles of warm milk. The same way he had entered, with a swagger and a cocky grin, pausing at the shoji door to deliver a killer one-liner and a blast of orange fire chakra. Oh, by the way, you're proctoring the second phase of the Chunin exams. Welcome to Konoha, where the will of fire burns eternal and the next generation is the king we fight for. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fawn, in turn, blasted him with his unique fusion of calm deadpan and red fire chakra. You are a terrible person. A firestorm of orange and red blazed. Naruto encapsulated this touching event in one sentence. But your chakra likes my chakra. A baby bottle came hurtling towards the back of his head as he danced away laughing. Poor baby girl, she'd starve to death with that kind of father. The first stage is what? Shamel slammed both hands against the surveillance console with no regard for baby Kabuto's hard work. It had taken the science baby 3 days to set up the cameras and lasers and passwords and other electronic shit in the building. Naruto had borrowed from the Mama Kaiokai Yakuza to serve as the venue for the first stage of the Chunin exams. On top of that, Naruto and Fawn had filled it to the brim with a combination of ninja and mafia traps.